and welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by the one and only, the human turret, one of the best ARs to ever do it. Give it up for the world champ himself, Sam LaRue, Octane. We got some of the best analysis in the business, the world champ, Christopher Duarte, Parasite. And of course, we got the one and only, the executive producer of The Flank, who's chilling in Madrid right now. Give it up for Benjay and Nassim. It is a week show, so Pap won't be joining us. I mean, it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon. It's probably the earliest Flank we've ever done. And I think that's just because of the time zones that's going on over in Madrid.
Tom, that's not, did you say 1 p.m. on the East Coast? It's 3.
Oh, sorry, West Coast. Sorry, 1 p.m. on the West Coast. Sorry, I'm getting my coast confused. Benji, how you doing? How's Madrid?
Madrid is good. Got in here Tuesday morning. We set up on Wednesday. Got a good streaming at the venue today. We had a little bit of internet issues in the morning, but you know, stuff always happens at events. But events good. Madrid, the food is great. The people are great. Did some sightseeing earlier this week, and to go out for dinner after the show with Gersh and a few people. And yeah, we made some good content, some of which has already been posted on our social channels. So make sure you check that out at The Flank. We have some other stuff that'll be coming over the coming weeks and months that Gersh and I shot with all the teams earlier this week. So
yeah, hell yeah. What about you, LaRue? How you doing, Sam? You doing all right?
I'm doing great, man. This is my normal streaming hours. I'm just doing what I normally do, except that now I'm watching COD. So,
absolutely, it's great. It's always good to watch some COD, and of course, we got Duarte, we got Chris in the house. What's going on, Chris? How are you?
I'm doing good. Adjusting. I'm a night owl, stream nights, so this is a little weird for me doing the flanks these early. I did a 24-hour stream with the season 2 release, which got my schedule, flipped. So I've been watching COD all morning. Woke up, got gym sesh, watch COD.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, today we finally got to Major 1. Feels like it's been a long time since we got to our first major, but we're finally here. A lot of great matchups today. I'll be honest, some of the matches went by so quick today. It felt like we didn't really get like a true banger into the last series, which we'll obviously go over all of them and talk about them. But what did you guys think about the venue? What do you guys think about it? I think the venue looked pretty cool. Ben, I know you're there. What are your thoughts on the venue and how they got everything going? You like it?
So the venue is a tennis center. It's a bit of an interesting complex. There's
tennis.
Like 3 indoor. The tennis center has 3 indoor courts. It's like a training area when you walk in, and you kind of walk over this like moat bridge. And there's a bunch of obviously outside courts. It's not really like a winter venue, although all the courts can be closed with roofs, and that's what they obviously did with the main court you see. The venue itself, like inside, once you get in the bowl, is pretty cool. They have like, lighting next to the seats, like you see like the Intuit Dome. But again, it being like a winter venue or it being a summer venue, and they kind of bring in a lot of vendors and sponsors and partners, it kind of makes sense that certain things aren't as good this time of year. The crowd wasn't super packed today, but it's Thursday, like it never really is. But I really want to give a shout out to like the Spanish fans that turned out, and the the Gorillas Ultras, the General Mates Ultras group. I think all like the green shirts or something like that. They pulled up like 500, 700 people, and they were there from like the beginning to end. So shout out to them. I think Toronto's running a W event, and yeah, I expect it to be pretty packed on the weekend.
Yeah, it was really cool to see the Genomates fans just like Genomates didn't even play today, and they had like a whole section in the stands just going absolutely insane.
Yeah.
The French esports fans, man, they're crazy.
Yeah, they're nuts.
It's
awesome to see. And I also like when they start singing and chanting. I feel like NA's missing that. Like I feel like NA gets chants going every once in a while, but not really like singing. You know what I mean? The Euros, man, they do it different over there. But you guys ready to hop into the first? Unless Sam or Chris, you have anything to say about the venue or the fans or anything?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's hop into the first match of the day. We had 4 matches today. First match we start off with is the Boston Breach going up against Atlanta FaZe. They get the rematch from the online match, and the rematch didn't go quite as planned for the Boston Breach as they get 3-0'd yet again. Nearly a 100-point club in the first map, red card, hard point. A 6-4 win for FaZe in the S&D, a red card search, and then a 3-0 control win in protocol. FaZe just absolutely dismantling the Boston Breach. And Jesus fucking Madon, we got the first red carpet of Major 1. You got a .72 from Cammy. You got a .78 from Big Wake Purge with a .61 and a .91 from Snoopy. I mean, everybody on Boston getting absolutely tucked in here. And then the other side, you had a 1.41 from Abizi today, a 1.33 from Selling. He had a 1.27 from Draza and a 1.3 from Sim. So these guys are just absolutely fucking dismantling them. Everybody pulling away on the Atlanta FaZe side. Your MVP going to go to Abizi with a 1.05 in hardpoint, 1.57 in search, and a 1.92 in control. And we know how deadly Abizi can be. I mean, if he's dropping numbers like this with the pace that Abizi plays at, you know it's a very impactful 1.4 there from Tyler Abizi. But clearly Boston really struggled today. Chris, we'll start with you on this one. Boston, they get 3-0'd here. What happened in the series today, Chris? What happened?
I mean, bro, they didn't look good online. They claimed it was a slow start, but I mean, a slow day. But they had another slow day here. I personally think that this is just a matchup diff. I think FaZe is just like very aggressive, and I think Boston is just struggling to keep pace, especially with their AR players and Wake and Cammy. I feel like they're very up and down. But Purge also just can't seem to like find a footing here against the subs. I think he's had 2 stinker series against them. So slow day this, slow day that. I just think that FaZe is outclassing Boston, when FaZe is playing like the FaZe we know. So tough shit for Boston. I want to say they're going to bounce back tomorrow, and I expect them to, just because they did so well online. But from what we've seen in Black Ops 6 so far, these teams online that are getting wins on the board, looking competitive, a lot of them are looking like frauds. They can't buy a map. So we'll see.
Yo, Sam, what do you think? Are the Boston Breach frauds, Sam? Are they
I sure
frauds?
hope not.
I hope not either.
That would suck for watching, but that series was belt to ass, brother. I mean, I'm not usually using the scoreboard to analyze series here, but you can look at the KDs and kind of deduce yourself how this went.
Yeah,
this was just a absolute ass beating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is really bad here. I mean, what do you think was the biggest difference in Boston's gameplay today? I mean, do you think it was just like some nerves, some jitters, or do you think FaZe is just that good that they were just able to? Because it's FaZe 3-0'd them online too, right? So do you think it's just FaZe, or do you think it's just Boston Breach on land?
A lot of things. I think it's a lot of things. I think it's a comfortability thing. This is the first time this team's played together on land. FaZe has been together forever. I mean, they're the best team in the game currently. You could say after today, definitively now. I would say they're the best team. Boston got a tough draw. They beat the absolute shit out of them online, so they got that looming in the back of their head. It was definitely an uphill battle, and they didn't even get a quarter of the way. So yeah. I mean, it was kind of doomed from the start.
Yeah, to be fair, Boston did play with this team at EWC at LAN, and they actually didn't play for that tournament. They got top 8, if I remember correctly. They got out of groups.
Sure, man.
Ben, what did you think about the series, Ben? What'd you think?
I think I was very confused by the vetoes in this series. Like, I'm not surprised I got the same hard points, same S&Ds as the last series. But go to the map vetoes, Tom.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're telling me that the Boston Breach, go all the way down to control.
Okay.
You're telling me FaZe banned Vault Control. You've watched FaZe back-to-back 3-0 smoke people on this map, including Boston themselves. And they chose to run it back? And they didn't even want to give Hossie a try in the series?
I think it might just be their auto veto.
I mean, yeah.
That's a tough one.
I mean, if that's their auto veto, it makes sense why FaZe would ban Vault.
I mean, we can't be nitpicking map pool, bro. They could have played anything.
And honestly,
I agree with you, Ben, but this is a skill diff this year.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say honestly though, like think about it from their perspective. Obviously, they probably believed they had a slow day the first time around. They were like, they're not that good. We just played like shit. We're gonna bounce back. They fucking run the same series back. Maybe I think this one. Did they play double red card last time? I think they maybe played one.
It's
Either way,
exact same map set.
Okay, so exact same. Oh, even better. They're like same maps. Yeah, slow day. Nope.
Did they play Skyline first last time? They did, right?
Yes,
it was like an outslay and like lose. It was like a weird one, right? If I remember that.
Okay. It was the same series, but with the reverse hard points.
Yeah.
They just
either way, bro.
I mean, look, here's how I break down the series. Boston, I've heard, is always like pretty good in scrims generally this year, which is not surprising because their teamwork is pretty good. But as people, I think, have started to got better at this game, started to really master the Omni movement. We're seeing players, especially in this series, for example, I was watching a BZ a lot, like they figured out how to backslide and like shimmy backslide and do a lot of this like really cool advanced movement to stay alive and be really annoying. I think to your guys' point, like the skill, the talent diff, the sub versus AR diff, the speed diff kind of comes into play. And I think this is just a bad matchup right now with this map pool. Like FaZe look incredible the last 2 or 3 times we've seen them on red card hardpoint. The S&D was mixy, but I think that's kind of to be expected on red card S&D. But I think teams got to stop playing FaZe on protocol control.
I mean, FaZe has been looking incredible no matter what they're playing right now.
I know, but the protocol control thing is like
they're the best. The offense on that map, their offenses on that map are crazy. They're they're legitimately like insanely good.
And
at
that's not that's not an easy map to win offense on. Speaking of protocol control, you know they changed the point in a new update. So I know during Major 1 it'll still be the old point, but they changed it.
Personally playing it.
You like it, Chris? Because you eliminate that bottom bunker, right? They put it in P2 now.
It just makes it so like you can't just turtle up in that bunker to defend the point. You can, and also now it opens up that like flank route because now you're not triggering B point if you want to like take a route down there.
Yeah.
To hit a flank on the zip or hit a flank, through spiral.
I think it favors offense way more now.
I think it favors offense.
I think it helps offense because that spawn trap that you got to get into is still help. But my bad, Ben. Go ahead. Get your thought out.
The spawn trap because you can kind of play rotators around tower. The only thing I would say for defense now is you have that corner wall that you can use for utility if you learn like lineups and throws across the map if you spawn deep, which I think teams will probably learn. People play like the box corner.
I was going to say, I mean, it might change obviously with the new meta, but I love that FaZe was doing a good job of like playing B and not falling into the trap of just going mid and A. Cause I mentioned it before that I feel like people don't do that enough. A lot of the time, if you go B, you can just basically force rotate any players that are top mid, which most of the time there's a fuck ton of players that are hitting your building because it's, what you want to do on a spawn trap. So FaZe, I think it had a lot of rounds. I think Boston had a couple rounds or attempts where they would go B a lot and get like ticks on there before they even went A. So, good on them for utilizing that point a lot more and not falling into that trap. Because I feel like that's probably a reason why they're so good at the map is they're not afraid to go B. They're not afraid to hit, those underground routes rather than just falling into the trap of, hitting the sidewalk and the heli stairs over and over and over.
I mean, they also do a good job just getting on point, stopping clock, like making teams like come out of their spots. Like Sam, I know you talked about like point bouncing a lot, right? Like bouncing off on and off the point. That they're really good at that. Like they do that really well. What are you gonna say, Ben? My bad.
I think they're really good at the map because Tyler and Beezy does a good job on A and B side, like pushing out the point and spoiling their team deep like consistently. And then he gets one and he makes it so easy for them to control the map. Chris usually ends up playing that like bottom vault spot or they kind of switch and like they control that map better than anybody on offense at the spawns right now. And I think teams should probably start to really watch what they do more.
Where does Boston fall now in the bracket, Benjay? Who are they playing? Who's Boston playing now?
Boston will fall the bottom side, so I believe they'll play Cloud9 tomorrow.
Little Boston Cloud9. It's doable for them. I think Cloud9 definitely this is a better matchup for them than Atlanta FaZe.
Well, I think Boston's on the better side of the bracket for them, Tom, because they have C9 on their side of the bracket, they have Rocker, and they have Vancouver Surge, and they avoid Carolina and now OpTic on the top side. So I won't be surprised if Boston makes a good run here at top 6.
Yeah, Boston can make a run. There's definitely a lot of teams that are going to have to make a run now as all our loser bracket teams are solidified for tomorrow. Any other final thoughts, guys, on the series with FaZe and Boston? I mean, this one was a slammage, dude. I mean, this was bad. It was a quick 3-0. No final
I hope
thoughts?
they're not demoralized. That's what I hope. I hope that they don't just get double bounced. I hope the series with C9 tomorrow is good because this could be like a mindset thing where you got beat so bad where it's just kind of looming over the whole weekend. So I hope that they show up and actually kind of forget about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, look what happened last weekend though. They got slammed by FaZe, and what happened against Thieves?
It's true. W bounce back.
Yep, it's a good bounce back for sure. But we'll move on to the next series of the day. This one was another blowout, ladies and gentlemen. We had another 3-0 with Toronto Ultra going up against the Vancouver Surge. Toronto Ultra with a 100-point win in the Skyline. Around 11, Surge and Destroy, where Toronto was able to clutch up in a 3-1 in protocol control. Vancouver, again, continuing to struggle here. We'll scroll down and take a look here at the stat sheet. And Jesus, Maron, it's another red carpet on the day. A 0.78 from Nasty, a 0.79 from Hixie, a 0.95 from Abuza, and a 0.89 from 04. On the other side, he had a 1.41 from Kleenex, a 1.13 from Beans, a 1.27 from Joe, and Insight with a 0.89. Just doing what he does, just filling in his role, I guess.
Good old Jamie series.
Insight with a 0.89. Listen, I love Jamie. I just feel like, he's gonna against the top teams. This guy's gonna have to kick up, bro. I mean, even in the damage department, he's very low compared to the rest of his team, and he has very low interactions. So. Again, love Jamie. Think he's a good player, but when it gets to top teams, I don't know if he's going to be able to get away with this. And then on the other side, just another red carpet here. This was another beating of a series where Toronto Ultra was just able to take over. And then, of course, you got your match MVP, Kleenex. He had a 1.84 in hard point, a 1.57 in S&D and a 1.04 in control. I think the story for me in this series, I'll start things off, is just Joe and Kleenex. Just the plays that they're able to make around the map, the aggression, just the way that they're able to work off each other. They got to be so annoying to play against. And I honestly think Kleenex and Joe played phenomenal today. Like, I thought they were insane. I know Beans did his thing and everything, but I thought the X factors to me were the sub players, just constantly in their face. And on the other side for Vancouver, I think these cats are terrible. I think these guys are horrible. I feel like these guys do not know teamwork. These guys do not play as a team. They single push everything. Sometimes they look lost on the map. They don't rotate sometimes. I'm watching 04 push 5 seconds of scrap. Like, it just looks so bad sometimes. Like, it almost looks like they're confused and don't know what to do. Which at this point, bro, like, it's just not, like, you have to play the game the right way. You're going to have to play the fundamentals. And if you're not doing the fundamentals, you're getting shit on, period. So when I see teams, like, not rotating, not taking routes, single pushing, trying to break, it's just, like, kind of annoying. Because it's like, dude, you guys have been scrimming for months. Like, you got to try and put this together. But Sam, we'll start with you. Vancouver, to get pooped on today by Toronto Ultra. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I don't want to hear nothing about online. I don't want to hear anything about where we're playing from. This was a non-competitive ass beating, bro. I don't care if you live in Vancouver or Mars. This series wasn't even close. I don't care if it was 6-5 game 2. These cats suck, Tom. You said it best.
They're not good.
These guys can't get kills. They're hitting scrap time. Their fundamentals are off. That's not attributing to ping. That's how you play the game. I don't want to hear no online cheese from them, bro. They got clapped.
Yep.
Bad.
Bro, I know they've been talking about online, like, I know they've talked about it in interviews and in tweets and stuff. But, man, when just some of the plays that they were making on the mini-map today were just not it. But, Duarte, what did you think, Duarte? What do you think, Chris?
I'm going to hold my full thoughts about this roster. I'm going to give you a little bit of it, but I'm going to hold most of my thoughts about this roster until tomorrow to see if they get eliminated or not. But personally, I just think that these guys got outclassed, especially when it comes to the submachine gun duo. We've been adamant about Hixie and his struggles as a player, but also Nasty, he got fucking pooped on. I mean, granted, they're playing Skyline and Protocol, so as an AR player, he probably wasn't, doing his best, but he needs to step up as well. But yeah, I mean, their teamwork is out the window. I think this series is less about the Surge and more about Ultra. I mean, Joe and Kleenex just looked fucking insane. And Joe's one of those players. It's actually crazy because he's been in the league for like 3 years now, but to see his growth as a player, granted, he's gotten better and better rosters over the 3 years. So he's just getting better and better. He's getting learning from more experienced players and stuff like that. This guy is a fucking shooter, and he is getting better every single year. Granted, this is a team that I think can make a final this year. I don't know if they'll get one on the board, but I mean, I'm just happy to see him playing very well because his POV is something to watch when he's on fire. That like Protocol towards the end was insane. That Skyline, they didn't show a lot of love to Kleenex and the casters. They Kleenex was like on the scoreboard. You could see he was going off, but they were just watching Joe. So I wish we could have got some more Kleenex POV, but those guys looked insane.
It's both of them, dude. They're just so fun. Yeah. They're so fun to watch and watch them like bounce off each other. But go ahead, Ben. What did you think about the series, Ben?
I agree with the whole crew as far as Toronto, and I thought they played well today. I mean, the Hacienda was a little bit mixy, but I thought Toronto did a good job considering they didn't get a lot of first bloods on their map, and they fought back in a bunch of 3v4s to go in and take that. I think on the Vancouver side, I mean, I think it is what we've been concerned about with this team. I just don't think they pack a punch. I think they have a weak punch. I thought Charlie made some good plays in the searches, but the respawns are where this team is going to live and die by, and I just don't think they're consistent enough slaying. 04 does have takeover, but it's rare. Like, I just think fundamentally this Vancouver team might lose tomorrow, and then we should have a conversation about adding a little more firepower and respawn so they can at least like be something in this league.
They also need some leadership, goddammit. At least when they had Hook, back on their old team, like you could tell he was a voice in like how they should play. He was probably just like leading the charge, and it was somebody that they could kind of just rely on to like always initiate. But now it's like, you got 04 who's like a rookie, and now like a lot of that pressure stems on like, granted, a lot of that pressure is on Hixie because he's like super experienced. Granted, he hasn't been in the league. He's just an experienced player. He's been around, but you could tell by like the way who Hixie is and like his comms and stuff like that, that he probably has a big say in the way the team wants to play. And he's not performing well either. So like when you have somebody that is not playing well, but also probably has to lead in the communication and the leadership aspect. Like, bro, you have a formula. You have a formula for just getting shit on.
Do you think that? Do you think that's hindering his play, Chris? A couple of people came in and super chatted, and they were like, Hicksy's like the only one rotating. He's the only one like trying to pick up the right lanes, like trying to like. Do you think that can affect a player?
I mean, it could
nobody on
definitely
the team's doing the right thing on the map.
It could definitely affect them. It's one of those things where like. It's like you could look at the scoreboard and you can have all these opinions as a player, but unless you watch the games, every single game, like diligently, and their coaches should know more about like what their issues are. And when they come to that point where they want to make roster changes, because I inevitably think this is where this team is going to head, they should be able to make an informed decision on who's, I guess, to blame for their performances and their struggles as a team. So we'll see. Because if it does come down to like him getting dropped, then yeah, maybe what his play was inexcusable despite his his intangibles. But I mean, I don't know. This team is just
they got
a
a
big
lot of
question
shit,
mark.
Chris. They
Yeah,
got a lot of shit, Chris, and we should
Yeah,
talk
you
about it
said,
tomorrow if they lose, because I think it's not even just about picking up a player. Existing players like 04 and Abuza and Nasty are going to have to play better, especially I think Byron.
They were on a 3-match win spree, so like we'll give them a a pass for this match. We'll see if they can bounce back.
Nate said, all right, wrap it up. Let's talk about Thieves. Absolutely. Right. Anybody else got any final thoughts here on the series? I think Vancouver look horrible, bro. I think they look horrible. They have a lot of work to do.
I'm excited for Toronto FaZe on Saturday.
I want to see Toronto put up a fight against FaZe for sure.
Vancouver plays Minnesota Rocker tomorrow. That should be an interesting one. I
don't know who the fuck is going to win that.
Game 5, round 11, 150 kill series.
I think Rocker's going to take it, to be honest.
The third time they played each other in like fucking 3 weeks is nuts, dude.
Going game 5 again, too. It's the worst part.
That is kind of crazy. But let's move on to the next series of the day. We got the Los Angeles Thieves going up against the Carolina Royal Ravens. This one ended up in a 3-1 victory for LA. First map was a 50-point club for the LA Thieves. They beat them 250-47 in the map 1 hard point. They beat them 250-66 in the map 4 hard point. So I don't know what the fuck the Carolina Royal Ravens were doing in the hard point. And then, of course, we had the Hacienda Control. That was 5 offensive wins in that map, which was really interesting to watch. It was really weird that nobody can take a defense in the Hacienda Control. The S&D did go in Carolina's favor with a 6-4 victory. We'll scroll down, take a look at the stat sheet, ladies and gentlemen. It is another red carpet for the Carolina Royal Ravens. You got Gwyn with a .96, Slasher with a .85, a .72 from TJ, and a .62 from Vivid. Again, that's 3 teams in a row. Have we ever seen 3 red carpets in a row like this? I don't think we've ever seen this.
No,
if we have, it's been a long time.
It's been a while, man.
We had last year a couple times.
On the other side,
y'all blocked out some of the Thursdays that were bad, and the Fridays were heaters. And
then on the other side, we had a 1.54 from Scrap, a 1.0 from Hydra, 1.28 from Dan Ghosty, and a 1.35 from Dylan Envoy. Everybody pulling weight there. You had Ernie as the match MVP here. Scrappy with a 1.88 in hard point, a 0.63 in search, and a 1.45 in control. So LA Thieves with a comfortable win here. I will say, I do want to say this off the bat. I hope Reese Vivid is doing all right, bro. For those of you that don't know, looks like there's something going on with his eye. I mean, even when he was on main stage, we all noticed it right away. His right eye is so swollen right now. I don't think he can see out of his eye. I don't think he can see out of it right now. I mean, you guys saw it, obviously, right, Ben? Ben, I don't know if you have any updates as to what's going on. I know Brian Saints tweeted out an update, right, about that it might be an infection and that it had to take him to urgent care.
Yeah, I have nothing else other than what Brian said.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to show some love to Reese and just make sure he's doing all right, because obviously he had to deal with that today, and that's probably hard to play through. So hope he's doing good. But on the other side, to talk about the series, what the hell happened to Carolina today in the hard points? I mean, what's going on with these guys? They didn't even compete in the hard points. It was bad.
They ran into a super team,
The
Tom.
skyline was 150-0. Sam, go ahead. These are your
They ran
guys.
into a super team, Tom. That's what happened today.
You think it was?
Nah, I just want to echo what you said about Reese. I know everyone's going to be on his ass, but playing in that situation is damn near impossible. So definitely don't want to give him too much slack. It's just a shit situation there, or flack, excuse me. But yeah, the hard points were absolute belt to ass, man. Not even fucking close. Slammed.
Yeah.
Shitties.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what was going on though with Carolina, bro. The skyline was 150-0. Like these guys weren't even competing. It looked like they didn't even show up to play today.
Nah, I felt bad. I was like looking for a mercy rule. We were up 148-0, bro. I was looking for a game end
did you
somewhere.
ever see the walkouts? It looked their vibes. I know Reese is probably sick and it's probably chalked it a little bit, but like their walk up the stage and how they looked before map 1, like I knew some weird shit was about to go down because they did not look comfortable. They looked comfortable in the first half of the S&D, but obviously classic Thieves can't fucking counter adjust in the middle of a search. But I thought the rest of the respawns were pretty clinical out of Thieves to move on to Saturday.
Yeah, Sam, were you surprised to see Thieves playing Hacienda Hardpoint with their struggles online, or maybe they just went back to the drawing board and fixed it? Because clearly they looked way better on it today. Scrappy actually had a crazy map as well.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't expect Scrap to drop 6 every time they play it. But I think the protocol veto was probably more just like looking at their overall map records, and we're like, yeah, we just don't want to play it. That's probably the reasoning for the Hasi being in the series. But I mean, yeah, getting a win like that on a Hacienda is great going forward for confidence for sure. Because I know it's going to loom over you until you get a good win, and 47 points is, I think, a good win. So
what's scary about this LA Thieves team too is I feel like Paco's not even playing anywhere close to the best COD he could possibly be playing right now.
No, he's not.
And when he gets to that point where he's playing like Paco level COD, like, dude, it could be even scarier than what it is now.
He had a good interview today after the series. He understood like where he was at in terms of just accountability and how he was playing.
Yeah.
So I was happy to see that. I mean, there's no point of harping on it. He knows what he's playing like.
Yeah.
But I mean, bro,
we recorded
like
interviews,
still
Sam.
doing that. It was crazy.
We recorded an interview, and I asked him and Dill about their S&D struggles, and Paco said, maybe it's just me.
Oh my god,
Nah.
he's
LeBron
crybaby
reference
cheesy.
right
Man.
there.
Come on,
He's
he's crybaby cheesy, man.
His
No, he
interview
said-
was
he said-
interesting,
he
though. He
said it
couldn't
joking
understand
way,
it. He
you know what I
couldn't
mean? Like-
understand the interviewer today. It was comedy.
Yeah.
He couldn't understand what he was saying. So that was funny. But Ben, go ahead. What'd you think about the
I
series?
mean, listen, Paco got unlucky that one round where he made a good play, and then he pushed top.
It's about when he got behind him and
He
took
played
it.
outside the door. No, when he played outside the door, tried to play like the door burst, and he got bad timing. Like, and then the ticket play as well. Like he got some unlucky plays, and I think some of that's coming out of timing, comfortability, and search. I'm just still concerned overall with Thieves because Carolina had started to like really turn on the Jets in the middle of the S&D, just kind of play a little bit more aggressive and reckless. We saw a bunch of like really aggressive defenses where they kind of like pushed out a B, and I'm still just really concerned against better teams as this Thieves is like still a playing A team in S&D, and they may not be able to really fix that until like Major 2 and Major 3, which is okay.
I'm really
That's
curious.
like the one
This
limitation.
series was so strange to me because like it was a great win. Like they played 2 incredible hard points, but it's just like the quality of the series. Like as a fan of LAT, just felt very weird. Like it felt like Carolina just almost wasn't even trying. So I don't know. It was a very odd feeling when
What's
we won.
going on with Carolina? I feel like they're taking steps back. I mean, bro, Sam, we were talking about these guys being S tier like a couple months ago. Now it's like they've completely fallen off the face of the earth.
This series, I almost feel like it was like C9 at the beginning of the year, where like there just wasn't like it wasn't even a fair shake. Like everyone in chat probably saw, but Reese's eye was damn near swollen shut, and it feels like how C9 was early season, where they didn't even get a fair shake. Granted, Reese wasn't dropping a 1.5 before that happened online, so I know that's where everyone's going to go with it. But I don't know, it was a weird feeling. I'm sure LAT is gassed though. I mean, they got 100 points in 2 maps, so I'm sure they're feeling good going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell how it is, bro. You talk to a lot of pros and teams, and they just think Carolina is just not a good scrim. Like those guys probably aren't taking practice as serious as they should, and that catches up to you eventually. They got off to a hot start. They were really ahead of teams, but this team started to grind and get better over the course of the break in early January. If Carolina is not progressing at the same pace, then other people are going to pass them. And I think that's what's going on with them and Respawn. I think they can still win searches because these guys are still instinctually like great S&D players, but it's whether Respawn is a fucking toss-up in every series at the moment.
Nate Shot's in the chat right now. He said, I think he just needs to know when to slow down and play fundamental, disciplined COD. His go button better than everyone in the league, but his team is a lot better now, and sometimes he needs to adjust his pace to match the rest of the team. Guy's beyond talented. He's just in a different circumstance now with LA Thieves behind him. It is true. He's never really had these type of players around him. Granted, he obviously the MW2 year they won champs, and I feel like those players really kicked up that year, like Priesta and Skies and them. But I mean, when you look around Paco now, and you have players like Dylan Envoy, Scrap, and Dan, like there's only so many kills to go around. It probably is a little bit of an adjustment for him to kind of get used to like that pace.
You could argue that he has the hardest role to adjust to on his team. Like I think Dan's already been used to playing with like the ARs he's played with because he played with Dashy his first year, and Scraps at very least that caliber as well. Obviously, Envoy's played with a multitude of players as well, different sub duos. So Hydra's only really played with Kismet for quite a while now. So yeah, he probably has the most adjusting to do.
Which Kismet's such a difference to Envoy in terms of just like how they like to play the game. I feel like they're so different. Like Bulldog's more of like a straight up like in your face. Like I feel like Dylan's more creddy, more like route taking. Like it's just like a different play style. But yeah, I think Hydra's only gonna get better, to be honest, as the year goes on.
Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna. It's Paco we're talking about here. Who did Carolina bounce down to? Who's on the other side of the bracket? Oh, the Falcons?
I'm pretty sure it's Falcons. I could be wrong, but I'm like 95% sure it's Falcons.
It's Falcons. So they should be able to get past them tomorrow, barring Reese getting more sick, I think. So hopefully Reese is doing well. And then for Thieves, we'll talk about their opponent and then break down the next series.
Yeah. You guys have any other final thoughts here with the series? It was, again, just pretty comfortable. It was pretty crazy, like, watching the first 3 series, how quickly they went by. Like, it almost felt like people weren't shooting back. Like, they weren't really competitive series. Like, even the maps weren't really that competitive. Why do you think that is? Do you think people are having nerves on land? Do you think there's, like, some nerves going on or what?
No, it's bro, there's a lot of variability just because these teams haven't played a game in this environment since EWC. And even then, that was not really this type of environment. So let's say fucking champs. And for some of these guys, it was even more than champs. So you're talking about 8 or 9 months. So yeah, I think for first matches for a bunch of teams, like they weren't able to match the intensity of the room. The question for those guys is you get an opportunity on Friday to make a really deep run and win a couple of series before you play another top elite team. Can you do that and really get comfortable again?
I think people got nervous today. I think there's a lot of nerves out there today. I feel like people lost their head. I feel like people were doing a lot of running and a lot less thinking than they normally do. I feel like people go to practice, they talk about things, right? They practice things like teamwork, right? Make sure you're hitting shit together, breaking together, rotating, proper setups and shit. That shit looked like it was out the window for some of these guys today. It looked like they were just running around and just caught up in the moment. And me personally,
I'd say maybe for like Surge, like you want to make that argument, you can, because I feel like that's probably should have been a closer match, especially with the way they played.
Carolina looked horrible,
Carolina's dealing with a player that's like sick,
saying,
so it's kind of like I'm not gonna. I don't want to make too many excuses for them because they still took a map. So, but like when it came to the respawns, like Reese also had like a completely terrible series. Not that he's had like insane series, but like a 0.6. Like I feel like the whole team was down. Like this is probably very demoralizing for them. It's like, oh, you go to the event, you have all this prep work, and then somebody just has like something fucked up, at the event. Like,
listen,
I don't want to make too many excuses for them, but
I know you want to put on Reese, but look at this across the board, bro. They all got shit on. The whole team got shit.
Because he had a
beat the bush around. Carolina's hard point has been awful in January. And look, maybe this Reese thing is tough. They're playing maybe a little bit like 3.5 versus 4, but we're not acting like these guys were an elite hardpoint team in January.
No one's saying that, but I'm saying like, bro, when you have like somebody that's like injured or sick or something like that on your team, and like you're trying to play through it, like that's demoralizing for everyone. Like I don't think Ravens is a team that's going to get a 100-point club twice in one series.
Miss me with that shit. Austin and TJ have been playing for long enough that they should be able to figure out how to rally.
I'm not going to put this on them. I'm going to put this more so on the fact that LA Thieves turned up and they had something to prove, especially Scrappy coming into that map 1 and they just caught fire and then just absolutely shit on them in the respawns. Like it wasn't even.
It's just odd because close, bro. Carolina looked good in the search and good in the control and couldn't win hard points. I don't know what to say about that.
I thought all of Carolina got fucking dumped on today. I know Reese has an eye problem, but even like looking past that, like it didn't look like anybody else was helping Reese out. Like they were all fucking getting shit on today. And then again, like me personally, I think people like lost their heads today. I don't know if it was like maybe caught up in a moment or like first match jitters on land. I don't know what it was. But the arrows on a mini map weren't taking the right routes. They weren't doing the right things on a map.
You mean just in the Carolina series or in general?
In general, I felt like in general, I thought the Vancouver series looked rough. I thought this series looked rough.
Like the first two series,
I thought there was even moments in the OpTic series that looked rough.
Yeah, exactly.
The
That's what I'm
first two
saying.
series, bro.
So
I thought Boston was gonna get clapped by FaZe again, and they did. Just team diff, FaZe is on the up. That's just how it is. And I was damn near putting them with Falcons. Surge, that is. Like, I don't know, bro. I was expecting Toronto to beat the shit out of them. They beat the shit out of them because they're just a better team. I don't think it was like nerves or how they were playing or anything. I think that was at least the first two series I fully expected to go the way they did.
Yeah,
I agree with Sam. I was not I was breaking more to like, oh, Boston. I saw the maps. I got TeamSpeak. I said Sam 3-0. Sam said yeah.
They could have played anything, bro.
Yeah,
I don't care. That was a team diff.
I think, yeah, like, again, we'll get to like maybe the series after that. We can have that conversation, Tom. I think you're confusing nerves with just people are not used to that environment because they haven't played in a room of that size with those lights in front of you, with that energy, that excitement that you're building over the last 3 months in like 7 or 8 months.
I'm confused.
And it's going to take people a series or two to adjust.
What do you mean? It's not like there's like a lot of rookies this year. Like, aren't the only rookies Falcons? Like, these guys have all played on land.
Yeah, but you
before.
haven't had those reps in that environment in like 8 months. It's a significant amount of time.
Okay, so they were nervous.
I don't know, but like nerves means that people are just like getting shit on. It's like
They were.
Everybody-
We just see three red carpets. I mean, they're getting shit on. People getting shit on. They lost their heads today. Bro, I was watching people hit 5 seconds of scrap, not even rotating, like three hills in a row.
If you want to talk about the next
one
series,
by one, pushing, breaking hills over and over again.
Tom, hold on. So you're saying OpTic got nervous when they lost to Miami?
No, I said OpTic made some brain dead plays today, but I think Vancouver, especially today, looked like they were a little
They were
off.
ass online. They won like 2 fucking series. Boston, when they played good teams. Well, Boston got 0-3 by FaZe last week on the same exact maps. You think the result was going to be different?
I mean, Boston probably not. No, probably not.
It's like I think it's half and half, bro. Like it's an environment. Teams got to get used to it. It's Thursday. We're gonna find out if some of these teams can make the losers bracket.
I mean, brother, like, these are professional players.
Who gives a fuck? Both can be true.
Yeah, both can be true. Both can be true. But I mean, getting used to land is crazy. You even heard Sim say it in the listening. Welcome to land, buddy. Right?
Welcome to land, boys.
He was really shitting on it. He's like, welcome to land. Like, I don't know, bro. I
think
feel like
hit the ground running, bro. That was all it was. They just beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Haven't lost in January yet. We want to talk about this final series?
Yep. Let's move on to the final series. We got OpTic Texas going up against the Miami Heretics here. This one goes all the way down to a last map. I think this was an upset here. I don't think any of us expected Miami to take down OpTic Texas 3-2 here. It was Miami who win the first hard point, 250 to 193. I thought they played that first map really well, but it was a good bounce back from OpTic in the S&D. They went 6-1 there in the search. OpTic winning 3-0 in the control, so very comfortable in the S&D. That map 4 was insane. I mean, Miami was running away with it, but somehow OpTic were able to bring it all the way back to a point where I thought they were actually going to win the map and close out the series 3-1. But Lucky made such a great heads-up play by sneaking by somebody on the kitchen side of the map and able to make a play on P2 and basically break the hill by himself. Just a high IQ play from Lucky, to be honest. And then the last map was a Metals masterclass. I mean, Metals just absolutely shut him down on that last map. Miami was able to take the map number 5. We'll slow down and take a look here at the stat sheet. You nearly have a red carpet for the Miami Heretics. You have a 1.10 from Real, who's saving them from that. But you had a 0.98 from Metals, a 0.92 from Lucky, and a 0.87 from Rencor. On the other side, you had Dashy with a 1.14, Hook with a 1.16. But you had a 0.90 from Kenny and a 0.95 from Shotzi. Everybody pulling weight in the damage department here for both teams. Match MVP, going to be Real on this one with a 1.24 in hardpoint, a 1.27 in S&D, and a 0.68 in control. I thought Real was great today. He's just constantly making plays, switching lanes. He's a hard player to track on a map. Ben, we'll start with you on this one. OpTic come out, and I think this was the first episode of the major. First upset, in my opinion.
So first off, Vickle Aura series. Vickle with the walkout and a little bit of speech. Like
Vickle Aura series.
I don't know what it is with OpTic against this franchise. Miami Heretics, Florida Mutineers. And they just matching them winners round 1 and just the weirdest shit happens. Because this is a weird series. I could not have predicted that Miami was going to win 2 hard points, and be down 1-2 and make like ice and have comeback after we've seen them like absolutely collapse in match after match this season and last season. I think today I think Brandon and Kyler played well. I know we talked a lot about Hook online. I thought Hook was fine today. I think that's exactly what you want if you're OpTic fans from him. But
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, and I know a lot of people are going to single out Ken, and yeah, he had a tough map 4. But, Ant talked a lot of shit online about teams like this, and I feel like, unfortunately, today he was just not really impactful in most of these maps.
Ant struggled today, to be honest. I felt like Ant wasn't really as impactful as he usually is. He was still making plays and being a nuisance on the map. Like, he's still doing what Ant does. But he didn't have that firepower that we're used to seeing from Ant, where he's just taking over the map, right? Like, I feel like today he struggled a little bit. And I think it is a positive, Ben, to see Hook performing like that on land, right? Because I feel like Hook's been... But I think Hook might be one of their best players right now online. Well, when you're looking online, I mean, I'm not really going to talk about this
Brandon's
series too
their
much.
best player, I think, probably in this game right now.
I mean,
Ant should be second, but I think today he didn't have
Dashy probably is their best player, but Hook has been great for these guys. I've been a big Hook fan.
Brandon's their most consistent player. He's their like
that's
someone they
facts.
can rely on. Like, he's always gonna do his what he does on the map, and he's always gonna like do his best to ice up for sure.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Sam? What happened today? What OpTic?
Dude, it's almost a map by map thing. First map, they didn't get a millisecond of time on P4 with like 6 team kills across both teams. It was a weird P4. Miami just did well, like rotationally to that. Clean maps 2 and 3, and then 4, bro. They were front running the shit out of them, and then Ken went like 0 and 12 through a couple of hills. I think he went on like a 10 and 23 to end the game. It was tough, dude. Lucky had a really, really good play on a P2 to kind of ice that, and then the end of the game was a cluster. I thought they were going to win it on the P3 in Kitchen Hill. And the last map was just medals, bro. And the OpTic also just really weren't working well together today at all. Like, there was the teamwork was off. I don't know if it was like a communication thing, if it was a famous round 1 on LAN OpTic series. But just the small talk and the stuff that was kind of muscle memory online for them, specifically in Respawn, just wasn't there. I mean, losing 2 hardpoints to Miami when you're the best hardpoint team in the game is pretty inexcusable. So I think it was just all in all a weird off series for them. It was not good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know a lot of people talk about the end of that map 4, and like Lucky made a good play on that last P2, but I thought a big play in that map was that first P4, where OpTic had back control.
Yeah, Real hit underground and ran through.
Underground, and they had pushed up, and he flipped the spawns by doing that, and then actually got Miami back in it because they had a pretty good P1 after that. I mean, I talked to you about Miami last week. Fair enough. They had mega ice in this series, especially last map when it looked like Brandon was going to be clutch matcher in the beginning. Like, they were just battling each and every round, doing retakes, winning 1v2s. And that's like, this is the ice we haven't seen from them all year. And to do it in the biggest series so far this season for them, like, I got to tip these guys. I talked a lot of shit, and they made me look like a moron today. Respect.
Map 4 was bad, bro. Like, OpTic were front running pretty easily, and then I think it was like the start of the second rotation. Ken was like 18 and 14, and again he went on like a 10 and I think he went 10 and 23 to end the map. Like, it was just and they never like regained after that. There was no like I think there was a listen in during the spree as well, which kind of tells most of it. Like, there was not really a reset. It was kind of just like calling out, and there was no like small talk. It wasn't like understanding the state of the map really. They were kind of just going on as normal. And I think it just cascaded, bro. I think Miami took advantage map 4, and that was the whole series, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure. And they clutched up as well. I mean, they super cool. Miami, I thought for a second they were going to get 3-1. That skyline got close. But yeah, Kenny did get put in a serious blender, bro. I think he died, what, Sam, like 12 or 13 times in a row? Couldn't buy a kill. So yeah, definitely affects them. I think the biggest thing with OpTic is when they're in situations where things aren't going their way, they just have to slow it down a little bit, and just play their kills. I'm sure they know that, but and that goes for a lot of teams when they're trying to break, like whoever. You can't just keep running one by one by one. I think it's important if you slow it down, work something together. I think there was one point where everybody tried to flood top stone today. It was when who was it that had 0 points against Thieves? They tried to flood top
Ravens,
stone.
the whole team hit top stone on P4 and they all died.
Yeah, and they just all died. Like, you want to do stuff together, but you also want to, you want to pinch things out. Like, you could still like pinch together, right? Like, instead of somebody just like running left and somebody's running right. Like, you can go to different lanes on the map, but you have to chow together. Like, you have to make that play together, and sometimes it just felt like they were rushing it. And I agree, Sam. You kind of heard that in the listening too. Kind of heard it, and you saw it.
It was just flat. It was just a flat series for me.
Flat. It was flat. I do want to tip Miami. That map 1, I thought they played pretty good. They controlled a couple of situations, but to your point, Sam, like Miami played the P3s and P4s on point.
So clean.
But they played P3 defense well.
Yeah.
No OpTic player ever crossed that like 50-yard line of the statue. They got in the bottom building sometimes, but they got instantly killed. Like they just played good, gritty, Atletico Madrid-esque fucking defense on P3. And they were able to, there was one P4 that was mixy, but the other ones they got decent time on, and that's how they were able to win that. I was just disappointed in the Skyline breakdown from OpTic. They should be better at that map, and they should be able to skill different Miami on it.
Hey, we got to talk about Metals in that last map as well. I know he slowed down towards the end of it, but early on, I mean, there was like 2 or 3 rounds where he was the only one getting kills. Like he was doing it himself. It was impressive to watch Metals. Just him like just getting aggressive, like finding those first bloods. Like I want to see that from Metals every day. Like there's just days where Metals is just running and dying, right? And then there's days where he's just like unbelievable. Like he's just such a hot and cold player. I would love to see Metals just like find that consistency. Like if he can come back, what they play on Saturday, if he can come back in Saturday and bring that same energy and be consistent, like I think this team can go a long way because you know what you're gonna get out of Real, right? And apparently Rancor turns up on land. A lot of people are telling me like Rancor's a way better player on land. Like some of the EU fans are telling me in the chat.
Rancor was one of their best players online. Like
yeah, he's been playing good. He's been playing good. And honestly, I thought Lucky played all right today too. I thought Lucky played good today.
Bro, his play on that P3, bro, or P2, excuse me,
P2,
on the Skyline.
Was great.
Oh man,
that was a great play. That was a great play.
Lucky's been playing better. He just makes good plays, but he just doesn't like show up on the scoreboard a lot. I mean, when it comes to this Heretics team, like bro, I'm gonna throw it in your face again, Ben, because those guys, I told you, they aren't a bad team. They just go map 5, and their S&D is what's really holding them back, because I think you were really hard on them saying that, like, oh, this team fucking sucks. I'm like, bro, there are way worse teams in this league. And I had faith in them to at least, always keep it competitive. And I said, when it came down to this team, to a degree, they might be one more consistent player, like, away from being a, like, top team, or at least a more consistent team. The problem with this team is they, like you were talking about it, Tom, they're not like consistent as a team, and they often either fail to play well in series, or they just like make bad plays as a team, especially in the search. But they looked clean on that Hacienda. That they were making some insanely good reads, some really good flanks. I loved that last round play where they took that RC car to the rock, and then they just went to the other site and then late flanked through the fucking middle of the map. But on the OpTic side, they just, I don't know. I think Shotzi just didn't come out to play because he's just been a big, he's been a big player for them at home. I don't know if that's going to continue, but yeah, he needed to step up here.
Yeah,
for sure.
I actually thought Miami, except for like the last 3 hills where OpTic brought it back, I thought they played good in the Skyline hardpoint. I thought they like were pretty comfortable up until like the very end of the game where OpTic just turned it around. They turned up, started chaining a couple hills together, but I don't think that map should have been that close.
OpTic controlled the first like half of the first rotation, but to the Real flank play and flip spawns in the P4, that's where Miami got back in that map, and they had a very good P1, and then a pretty good P2 mix after that, and then they obviously won the next P2. And that's
but I will say, I feel like you have to read those underground routes on Skyline. I mean, if you're a sub player, you'd be hitting that all day. You should be hitting that all day, no?
I would love to go back in the VOD and see like who was responsible for watching like bottom closet. Like they all pushed up. No one was watching the back, so I actually want to know kind of how that happened.
Yeah, 100%. You guys got any other final thoughts? While we take a look at matches tomorrow, and see what's going on.
They got to clean it up.
I think go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
Nah, I mean that's just a general statement. Their hardpoint looked like shit today for the best team in the game, so definitely got to clean it up. And hopefully there might be a little crowd choose tomorrow. We got LAG OpTic, man.
Yeah, LAG is going to be crazy tomorrow. That's going to be insane.
Tomorrow. I'm going to keep it a buck. Of all the teams in losers bracket, I think this is a team I probably want to play the least, because it's just something about these LAG guys in this losers bracket. We saw them when they were on the New York side. Like, they are a tough team to get out. I think they were starting to play a little bit better. Not a lot better, but a little bit better online before this. And the crowd cheese, because those LAG fans were really fucking loud today. I think they're going to bring like 50% more energy tomorrow. Helps for OpTic.
Who's louder, OpTic fans or the LAG? Who do you think is going to be louder tomorrow? Probably the LAG fans.
The LAG fans for sure.
I don't know.
They had like 500 of those guys in the crowd.
There was a lot of them, Sam. There was a lot of those cats.
Miami today, bro. I don't know.
Let's see what these Gorilla fans do when they actually play.
Was Miami getting booed today? Were they getting booed? Why were they getting booed at their home?
Well, to be fair, a lot of the European fans that are like not Spanish that were there, or even some of the M8 guys were probably OpTic fans. So, but like they're gonna have to turn their heads, to LAG when this OpTic. Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah,
I will say this though, with OpTic losing, and it's just purely a math thing. Either OpTic, Toronto, or FaZe, one of them is getting top 6 now at this event.
OpTic was my grand finalist.
That actually is crazy.
One
I
of
had
them is
FaZe
getting
OpTic grand finals, man. That's what I had. I had FaZe OpTic, and now OpTic's already in losers. Then we got Carolina versus Falcons. You think any way Falcons take Carolina?
Nope. Unless Reese Vivid is not playing.
I think they all got pooped onto that. I think even with Reese's eye, I think they. Well,
I gotta know who's playing for the Falcons first off, because they have a different roster every fucking match.
That is true.
The same as last
I guess
time.
it's gonna be who? King, Xnade,
Doom,
and then, wait, is it King? Oh no, it is King, right? That King is the new one they brought in.
Yeah,
not King Abadi. It's another King.
And Roxas, I guess.
And Roxas, yeah, and Roxas. That's probably their roster. And then we got Vancouver Surge going up against Minnesota Rocker. I think Rocker's probably going to take that one.
God, I got the community losing in that one.
Yeah, that one's going to be an interesting one because you just don't know what you're going to get from either of those teams. I think the X factor for Rocker is going to be Paul. Like, how does Paul X show up? But we'll see what happens. And then we got Boston Breach as well, going up against Cloud9, which I think is an interesting one. I think we should do some predictions here. We'll start from the bottom up. We got Boston Breach going up against Cloud9. I'm going to go with, Damn, that's a hard one. I have no fucking idea who's going to win that shit. I'm going to go with Cloud9 after the beatdown that Boston got today.
You're getting a bounce for Breach?
Yeah, I'm going to bounce and Breach. Yep, I think.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Is this not friendship cheese?
Well, listen, man. Last time I had a prediction and everybody went against my prediction, I happen to be right and you guys are wrong. And I think Cloud9 is going to take the W tomorrow. I think it can be a 3-2 victory for Cloud9. It's so funny, Sam. What are you laughing at?
I don't know, man.
You laughing
all
at
good, bro.
You're looking at one data point and thinking it's a pattern, but it might just be an outlier. Tom,
you want to know the worst part, Tom? You want to know the worst part of all this?
What,
I
Sam?
agree with you.
Absolutely, Sam.
I'm picking C9 too.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
I'm picking C9 too.
Thank you. What, now I don't look like a moron? Now, it's because Sam said it. We're good? Fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Fucking assholes.
Yeah, been a wrong
I'll follow my boy Tom into the abyss, dude.
Sam.
I don't give a fuck.
Let's get it,
go
baby.
C9.
Let's get it, Sam. What about you, Benjay? What do you got?
Boston 3-1.
Got Boston 3-1?
Correct.
Duarte.
I'm gonna go Boston. That way Doug doesn't fall flat on his fucking face tomorrow.
No, man, come on.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Then we got Vancouver Surge against Minnesota Rocker. I got Minnesota Rocker. I do not like how Vancouver's playing the game right now. I actually hate watching them play sometimes. I'm sorry to be a Vancouver hater. Love all the guys. I think they're great players too, but they are just not meshing well right now. I don't like the plays they're making on the map right now. So I'm going Minnesota Rocker. But it could be anybody's game. I don't know what the hell we're gonna get from these two teams tomorrow. What do you think, Ben?
Game 5. That's what we're getting.
Yeah, probably a game 5. Probably a nail biter game 5.
I don't know. I'm gonna say Minnesota 3-2, but I don't fucking know, bro. I'll be real with you guys. I have no idea. And by the way, Seattle, Minnesota, Boston, Cloud9, Miami, or Thieves. Let's remove Thieves because I think Thieves probably beat Miami. Brother, one of those bottom teams on the bottom side of this bracket have a good chance to get top 4.
W,
the way
man.
Is that not fucking
Falcons.
insane? There's the bracket, the bracket that plays at events, man. We had a whole online stage, and we might have a weird top 4 for this event.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Duarte?
I'm gonna give it to Rocker because I've just been a Rocker fan for quite a few matches now. But I'm not confident. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a literally coin flip of the series, or somebody just comes out and just gets fucking ass blasted and 3-0'd somehow. I just don't know how this is gonna happen.
Ass blasted. Interesting.
Heard.
Ass blasted.
Heard. Did you guys all pick Rocker?
Yeah.
Oh man, puts me in quite the pickle. Yeah, I'll take Rocker too, just because I'm a Seattle hater.
Yeah, we are real. We're calling them Seattle. That's insane.
It's just in my brain, bro.
You can't not be a Seattle hater now. Like, they just blamed online, then came on and got fucking horked on. Like, now you got to be a Seattle hater.
Vancouver.
You're not Seattle.
These Vancouver cats.
These Vancouver cats. Then we got the Carolina Royal Ravens going up against the Vegas Falcons. I think the Vegas Falcons are going to take that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going Carolina in that one. There's no way, right? There's no way.
Like a half second right there, low-key.
There's no way, right? There's no way that Carolina loses.
I got Ravens, man.
Nope. I'm going Vegas Falcons.
On a technicality, like Ravens are forfeiting the series, or like you think they're going to beat them?
I don't know, bro. After what we saw from Carolina today,
they're going to skill diff them.
I don't know, man. What do you think, Benjay?
I'm going to stick to my prediction. Vegas is going to win at map 1 of this series. Unfortunately, it's going to be the only map they win this series.
They're going to get their first hardpoint win?
First hardpoint win, first map tomorrow, and then they probably lose 3 straight.
I think they win.
I don't know, Ben. If they win their first hardpoint, they might be delusional going into the S&D. Like, they might be, like, if they finally get a hardpoint win on the
one that make mistakes and lose.
Nah, bro. They're winning 3-1, bro. They're winning 2 hardpoints in a search.
Oh, my God.
Shit.
That would be insane. That would actually be insane.
Third.
And then, of course, wait, we all got Carolina in that one, right? Except for Chris.
I have Vegas.
Except for Chris. Yeah, Chris has Vegas.
Yes, inshallah.
Then we got OpTic,
cheating,
Texas, going up against the Los Angeles Guerrillas Generates. The venue will be loud as fuck for this one. I'm going to go with OpTic in this one. I can see this going to a last map, though. I can see this going either way. I just think OpTic has looked better throughout the year so far. So I'm going to go with OpTic in this one. I'll say 3-2. What do you think, Ben?
This one, I think, is a lot on Ant tomorrow, because if Ant is pedestrian and these LAG guys can kind of play their game, and this goes to a game 5, it's the same thing as Miami. Like, who do I think
pedestrian?
is more game 5?
What do you mean?
Showed up in street clothes.
What do you mean pedestrian? What do you mean?
Showed up in
Just
street clothes
mid,
tomorrow.
just average. But I think OpTic's gonna clutch. I think OpTic's gonna win 3-1. But if Ken and Ant have another rough one, like, I'm in, bro.
I'm gonna
It'd be insane about the
What is he, a ped? Like in GTA?
I'm gonna tell
You
you the way
never
this
heard
series
that
is.
expression before? Like someone just pedestrian or whatever.
I'm gonna tell you 2 ways.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you
That's
2
not
ways. I'm gonna tell you 2 ways this series is gonna go. If OpTic win first map, it's gonna be a clean series, 3-0, 3-1. If Gentlemates win first map, Kismet is about to be delusional bulldog. Just literally, I guarantee, just fries. World Stars has one of those series where he blacks out, because if he's got the fans on, like, bro, I'm still remembering when they made that run back in Vanguard when they had Krim on the team. It was like Krim Paul, and like they had the fans in the New York Major. If he's got the fans right now, yo, I'm telling you, if they win that first map, he is about to black the fuck out and go delusional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could ride off that energy.
Only if they win that first map. If they don't win that first map, I got OpTic.
I think Caesar has to be pretty good tomorrow. He's been pretty lackluster so far of the other of them. I think the other 3 have had some like good series, but Caesar's been mostly kind of like whatever, pedestrian. I think a Caesar pop-off series would do nicely for them, but I don't know if we're gonna get it, man. I think I'm just gonna take this one 3-1.
We don't need to do predictions for the winners brackets, because those are obviously on Saturday, right? All those winners are on Saturday, right? Those matches.
Correct.
Yeah.
But seeing Miami and Thieves, like the fact that they got through OpTic, if Miami get through Thieves again, that'd be impressive to get through OpTic.
If Miami's in a fucking winners final, I might eat my pants on the flank.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I might cook them up, salt and pepper, and eat my pants.
You can play out like the.
I'll follow you up and eat my whole foot.
They'll get top 3 and then get
Jesus
6 out
Christ.
on Sunday. Shit, like, I don't know.
You heard it here first. If Miami beat Thieves, Sam will eat his pants and Duarte will eat his foot. Live on stream, live on a flag.
Live on the flag.
All right, yeah, that's gonna do it for the bracket. Obviously, we got some good matches tomorrow. Excited to get the rest of the weekend on our way. Don't think we're gonna be seeing a putt from Benjay since he's all the way in Madrid. There's no way this guy's got a putter over there in Madrid. But guys, I really appreciate everybody, man, that's been in here. Everybody who's been showing love, chat. Just thank you all so much for tuning in today to both the watch parties and the shows. I hope you guys all enjoyed. And we'll be back tomorrow. We got another watch party tomorrow, another show, and we get right back to action. Not sure what happened to the chat box. Chat box broke, but I appreciate all you guys. Thank you all so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, go to anchor.fm/theflank. Check out Audio Citzeron. Go follow at the Flank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials. ZooMaa.gg for merch. Definitely got to get some merch out there, Ben. I don't know what the update is on merch, Ben, but we got to try and get some merch out there. for these guys. I know we've had some designs flying in and out. Some of them I didn't like. Some of them I did like. We got to try and get some designs up for y'all. And yeah, and join the community on Twitter. It's pinned to the top of the Flank Twitter, pinned to the top of my Twitter. Go check it out. As always, man, take care. Brush your hair. And we'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Flag, man. See you tomorrow. Take it easy. Salam.
Peace.
Hello.